Good evening and welcome to tonight's K-State Global Campus KState Online webinar. We're talking about transfer students tonight, and we're so glad that you are here with us at this webinar. I wanted to introduce the other presenters that will be with us tonight. I'm Jennifer Fortmiller. I'm the admissions and enrollment coach for Kansas State University Online. With me, we also have Beth Stevie, who is the direct link coordinator. You'll hear more about those transfer opportunities and that particular program. And we also have Sarah Kells, who is an admissions representative. Did want to welcome you to this particular webinar. And as I advance through the next slide, if it'll work here. Yep. This is the agenda, what we're planning to do tonight. So as you can see, the first 30 minutes or so, we're going to be taught everything related to transfer at our institution. We're going to review and explain the application and the admissions process and the transfers. At any point during that presentation, if you have a question, please put that in the chat box and we will answer. If we can, we'll answer them within the chat. If not, we will save them for the end and be able to answer your questions at that point in time. I do want you to try to locate that chat box right now if you don't mind. And if you don't mind giving us the state where you're located and maybe the name of the transfer institution that you come from, we would love to be able to have you answer all that in that chat box. I think you also might see a poll that has been launched, and we will have you answer those particular questions if you're interested in attending K-State Online, on campus, mix of both, don't know yet, and then how many institutions that you've attended. I also wanted to let you know that there is going to be a recording available for this particular webinar. We'll have it processed and we'll send it out to you about 7 to 10 business days after this particular webinar. Some items to cover then. We're going to talk about the transfer process. We're going to talk about maybe why K-State is a really good choice for you, particularly the online programs. We're going to talk about what office to contact, how to apply, all the different types of transfer credit that's available. You can see the listing of what to expect in this upcoming webinar. We'll talk about the admissions and the enrollment process, the direct link program services that are available for K-State students, and also the important dates that are going to be coming up. So I think we've got quite a few that have voted. If you haven't taken that poll, please go ahead and try to do that. And also, yes, in the chat box, please put your name, where you're from, some of your transfer institutions. We'd love to get to know you in that way. And that was a kind of a repeat of the poll that you've already seen. And we'll go through. What I'm seeing so far is about 67% of you are interested in the online programs. 22% is interested in taking both online and on-campus classes, and some undecided. We also have kind of what we're expecting, one transfer institution. About half of you are bringing in credit from one transfer institution. The others have 2, maybe 3 different institutions, and that's very typical. So glad to see that particular webinar poll, and we appreciate you answering that particular poll. So we're going to get in and talk about who are transfer students. And transfer students are defined as those who bring in more than 24 hours from a regionally accredited college. And that's different than taking high school classes or college classes while you're in high school. We're talking about 24 hours that typically you can bring in from a regionally accredited college. We also know transfer students are people that will change institutions for a variety of reasons. If they leave a particular area, or if they have a change of career plans, they will change institutions and become a transfer student for that reason. And we've also seen the research from WES and Aslan Market Research that 87% of undergraduates that enter one of an online program will bring in transfer credits. So we know that transferring is a very important process of pursuing your degree. And so we're very comfortable and confident in working with transfer students, and we want you to know that too. So why transfer to K-State Online in particular? K-State does have 17 unique undergraduate online programs in a lot of variety of areas. We've got a flexible schedule that allows you to earn a degree while you're also working or taking care of family responsibilities. We've got learn on the go with mobile course access that you can be anywhere and still complete coursework for a K-State degree. And we have recognized that with COVID concerns, it is a nice option to have to still pursue your degree even when COVID things happen in the world. So 17 online programs from K-State. I'm going to run through them real quickly. We do have an online animal science and industry program. We have an applied business and technology program. This is able to utilize typical AAS degree programs from transfer institutions. We have a business administration degree that has 4 different options. You can see in business analytics, human resource management, marketing, and operations and supply chain management. We also have a dietetics program that's very unique to the fact that not many schools have an online dietetics program. We have early childhood education. We have educational studies. Elementary education can be done online. Food science and industries, another unique program in the United States that's housed right here at K-State. Human development and family science. Integrated computer sciences. We've got journalism and mass communications that's available online. Kinesiology is a new program that became online. Machine learning and autonomous systems is a great new program as well. Nutrition and health, personal financial planning, professional aviation, and social science. So we have a wide variety of online degrees that you can pursue at Kansas State University. At this point, I am going to turn it over to Sarah, and she can talk about some of the transfer application steps that you'll need to complete. Take it away, Sarah.
Thanks, Jennifer. Well, hi, everyone. Thank you again for joining us this evening. My name is Sarah Kells, and I am one of the admissions representatives for Kansas State University Online. I work with a majority of the undergraduate programs. The only ones I don't work with are nutrition and dietetics. So if you're interested in any of the other undergraduates and have questions about the programs or the application process, I am the person that you can reach out to. So the application process at K-State is actually pretty simple. We do have an online application that is available all year round. And we do ask that when you apply, that you just choose one major and select that on your application. A lot of students end up declaring a minor, maybe a double major or a dual degree, but at the time that you apply, you'll just put down your primary major. And that can change later if you decide to. There is an application fee that can be paid online at the end of the application when you're filling that out, and it is good for 1 year. So sometimes students choose to enroll one semester, then maybe they change their mind and want to push it back a semester. That application fee can be rolled forward up to a year. Part of the application process is also determining how your classes will transfer. And that is definitely the biggest question that I get from students transferring to K-State. We do have a transfer equivalency website that can help you with that. And there's also some individuals at our main admissions office that can also help you with that process. So any courses that you're not quite sure how they'll transfer, we can definitely help you with that. And we'll talk a little more about that further on. Scholarships is also an important part of the application process. Anything that can help pay for our tuition is always going to be very important. And we want you to be admitted before you can be considered for scholarships, both online and on campus students. So that is important to get the scholarship application in by priority dates, which we'll also be discussing here in a little bit. Financial aid, scholarships can't always, cover everything. So financial aid, if you're applying for that, and help utilize federal and state funds in addition to those scholarships. So we'll be able to help you through those steps and through that process of that as well. And then, of course, enrolling. So at K-State, we take enrollment very seriously and advising very seriously. So whether it's on campus or in person or from a distance virtually. We want all of our students to feel very confident and very comfortable with the advising process. So every student will have an advisor that will help them with enrollment and work one-on-one with them during their time with K-State. So finding your major, we have 250 majors at K-State, but like Jennifer said, 17 of them are completely online. So one of the things that you'll want to determine when you decide to transfer to K-State, not only what your major will be, but also when you want to start, and determine, when that time is good for you. And to start your coursework with us. You'll want to really think about and talk through when your program starts, if there's a specific semester that you can enroll in, or if there's one that's more convenient for you. Then definitely plan ahead so that you don't miss any deadlines. There are going to be specific deadlines for scholarships and applications, which I'll go through in a little bit. And to be able to be admitted in time for starting that program, you really want to make sure that you pay attention to those deadlines. So the application process, pretty simple, like I said. You'll want to make sure that you disclose all of the previous institutions that you've earned credit from. So any institution that you've earned college credit, you will need to report that on the application, and approximately how many credit hours you've taken with them. Then once we get those, and then you'll also want to have those official transcripts sent to us. We will need to request those, and for them to be official transcripts, which is what we need, it needs to be directly from the institution. Personal copies will not be considered official transcripts. We do have several ways that you can send those. Electronic is obviously going to be the quickest and easiest way to get those sent to us, but we do accept fax and also, old-fashioned mail. So there is an application fee, like I mentioned, $40 for domestic US students and $80 for international students. And again, this can be carried forward if you happen to apply to K-State previously within the last year. You can use that going forward in future semesters if you change your mind. Also, if you're a previous student from K-State and you enroll in classes and take some time off, your application will always be waived anytime that you decide to return to the university to continue your undergraduate degree. Along with your college official transcripts, you'll also want to include any other transcripts and also important documents. Any kind of tests or military credit would be very important for you to contact that institution or organization and make sure that those are sent to us as well. So AP tests are common for high school students. CLEP is another one that is pretty common. So any of those scores in your education history, you'll really want to make sure you have them sent to us directly. International transcripts, if you're an international student, sometimes it can be hard to obtain an official original one of those. So that is when we might make an exception for those for an unofficial copy, because you may have the one and only copy of your transcript. So you can, as an international institution, you can make a photocopy of that and scan it and email that to us as your official copy. But again, that is for only international institutions. So now I'm going to turn it over to Beth, and she's going to talk about how courses transfer to K-State.
Thanks, Sarah. So how do courses transfer? We actually have a couple of really nice tools that we're going to get to here in a little bit that can help you figure out your transfer equivalencies. But just a quick introduction and some more information about how courses transfer. We do accept classes from regionally accredited institutions. So those would be both public and private institutions that are regionally accredited. There are various accrediting bodies. There's some that specifically are for technical programs. And so those usually won't transfer to K-State or to many other universities very well. So you'll want to make sure your institution is regionally accredited if you're thinking of taking classes and then transferring to K-State. Most of our programs do require a C or higher for the classes that you're going to be transferring. There are some programs that actually require a B or better in some of your classes. So it's going to be important that you connect with an advisor or with Sarah, who can help you to decipher what classes can apply. These will transfer for some program and others, a C or higher is required. You'll see that the GPA itself does not transfer into K-State. So when you look at your K-State transcript, it will not have grades from other institutions factored into your K-State GPA. We do, however, need to know what those grades are and your GPA, because that's going to be used for both admission and for scholarship purposes. For general admission to the university, a 2.0 cumulative GPA is all that's required, but it's definitely important to check with Sarah and other admissions representatives or an advisor in the program that you're going into, because there are some programs that require a higher GPA to be admitted into their degree. There are also some degree specifics, some degrees that require specific courses as prerequisites, and sometimes those prerequisites are not offered online through K-State. So if that's the case for your program, we'll definitely help you and connect you to advisors and resources at other colleges to get those prerequisite courses before transferring to K-State. So the next few slides, we'll talk more about our transfer tools. And other things that you can use as you are planning your transfer to K-State. One that's not covered in a slide I wanted to highlight here, and that's the reverse transfer process. For those that don't know, reverse transfer is a way for you to take K-State credit and transfer that back to your community college and receive your associate degree. Now, if you're a transfer student from a Kansas community college, it's a really easy process, and it's something that we'll remind you of in your first semester at K-State. But we wanted to just let you know that this is a possibility, so you can get credit for all that time that you spent completing those classes to transfer. Our transfer equivalency tool is a course-by-course search. So if you just want to see how one particular course or a group of courses transfers into K-State, you can use that tool. It's great to keep track of the courses and how they transfer, and then you can print or email yourself a copy of those results. The equivalency site will indicate whether it's an elective or if it actually is a class that it actually transfers for. So it'll have a name and a title and a course number. You'll also be able to see if courses don't transfer. For those classes that don't transfer to K-State, they cannot be used for any programs except for the Applied Business and Technology program. And that can use some of your more technical courses. And if you have questions about that, Sarah can definitely help you with those questions, or ask them here. We can explain more about that program as well. We'll also review your military credit, and that will be put on your transcripts. And the equivalency site also lists all of our K-State 8 requirements, which is our general education core that all of our students have to complete while they're here. So it's a great tool to utilize and look at as you're planning your transfer to K-State. On our equivalency tools, when you go to our equivalency website, you'll see two options. You'll see a search by course, and that's where you go to just pick one course and to take a look to see, or a group of courses, and see how those transfer to K-State. On that same equivalency tool, once you've selected the search by course, you'll be able to select the school that you transfer from. And you can also select multiple institutions if you are coming and transferring from multiple institutions. So if you're looking at the list of courses that you have affiliated with your institution, and you see that there's some not listed, you can actually upload your syllabi for that course to request the course evaluation link. And you can see Jennifer's pulling up the slide here. It's really an easy process. You have to fill out a form and then upload a syllabus for the class, or a syllabi for the classes that you're looking to evaluate. And it's easy to do before you get to K-State, and We usually give our K-State departments a couple semesters or a couple weeks, to get back to us about that evaluation. But sometimes it does take an extra week or so to get that evaluation back to you, but hopefully you would have that information back about how that course transfers within 2 to 3 weeks. When you're submitting syllabi, it's important that we have these pieces and that they're included on those forms that you fill out. So those are for sure the name of the institution, the course name, the professor's name is also helpful, as well as the topics or the assignments that were covered in that class. The grading scales are a really important tool to have on there, as well as what textbooks were used. And if you're looking to submit a syllabus but you can't find yours, you can definitely check with the registrar or the department that you took the class from at that college, and they can help you find those that syllabus for you. So if you have other credits that you want to review to see what classes they transfer for, you can review that on our prior learning website. It will tell you how AP scores are evaluated and accepted into the university, as well as CLEP, Dante's, and the International Baccalaureate or the IB program. Like Sarah said, we can accept international transcript as unofficial documents, and it is also helpful if those are translated into English. We don't have any requirements on how they are translated into English. You can use a specific company or an agency, or you can translate them by yourself or with someone that you trust, and then submit those unofficial evaluations to K-State. Our transfer pathway is the other item on our transfer equivalency tool website. The transfer pathway is more of a curriculum-based view, so you can look at a specific degree and what classes will transfer into that degree from a particular institution. In the state of Kansas and many of our surrounding states, we have a lot of these pathways built for all of our majors across campus. But if you're coming from an institution and you don't see a transfer pathway listed for you, please let us know and we will put one together so that you can see how those courses transfer. As you're using the tool, you will be able to select the college you are transferring from and then the major that you're interested in pursuing. It will bring up a side-by-side view, so it's easy to see what class requirements there are for a certain major and what equivalents there are for those classes. And I will turn it back over to Sarah to talk more about scholarships and financial aid.
Thanks, Beth. Scholarship and financial aid. Again, as I said before, very important for you to make a note of these deadlines. For online students, you can see November 1st is our spring scholarship deadline. So if you're planning on starting this spring, you'll definitely want to get that application in by then. And then Beth is putting in the chat there the link for the scholarship page and also the financial aid, which I'll talk about in a second. Other scholarship deadlines you'll see there is April 1st. If you're wanting to start in the summer semester, that would be your scholarship deadline. And then June 1st is the fall scholarship deadline. And students can apply for scholarships every semester, whether you were awarded or not. So definitely keep those in mind throughout your time here at K-State. Also, October 1st is when FAFSA is available, as you can see there for the following fiscal year and or annual year. And most people should have their taxes done by then. So that is why, and so that will be plenty of time for you to fill out and submit your FAFSA. I did want to take just a second to point out that at this point, we are still in the pandemic and circumstances have been very unusual and maybe unplanned for a lot of students and their families. So if your situation is to where you have filed your FAFSA and it was based on 2 years ago and your situation has changed, maybe a job loss or something's happened in your family, or just any particular situation to where your income is not the same now as it was pre-pandemic, Then we do have a process for you to tell us what has happened and potentially get more financial aid to assist you with your K-State expenses. So definitely let us know. We do, once you are, admitted to K-State, you can contact and have access to a financial aid representative here at K-State, and you can get in touch with them to start that process and let them know that there's something different based on your financial situation. So if you are admitted, you will receive an admissions letter. We do love to send those old-fashioned letters in the mail. So you may get an email that says you're admitted, but you'll also get a letter in the mail later on. You'll also want to start checking your K-State email. We will start sending some information to your K-State email. It's also a great way to start staying connected with your K-State advisor and community. You'll also receive a plan from your advisor about 2 weeks after being admitted that will tell you the process of being advised and how to enroll. The program that we use at K-State is called KSIS. That's your student portal. And that's where you're going to see a lot of information like your class load or your class schedule, how to add and drop classes, your financial aid, your advisor's contact information, billing statements, a lot of information in cases. So you'll also be able to run a DARS report, and a DARS is your degree audit report that tells you how your class is transferred in and also what is left to complete and within your degree. So that's something that will be very handy and important for you to use. You'll also consult with your advisor on your class schedule. We want to make sure that you feel very comfortable with the classes that you're taking and that you're going to be staying on track towards your degree completion. So you can consult with your advisor anytime you want, but we do recommend at least once a semester. We would definitely encourage that so that way you can have more help in enrolling in classes. And I'm going to actually turn it over to Beth again.
Thanks, Sarah. We have just a few more slides, so hang with us. We just want to talk a little bit about some tips as you're transferring. Of course, we want you to start early. So as soon as you've made that decision to come to K-State, we would love to start working with you. It doesn't matter how early. We'll keep track and help you with all of the questions that you have. We talked about sending transcripts before and all of your affiliated credits. And so we just encourage you to do that early, because those do take time to not only get to K-State, but to be processed and put into the system. So if you can plan ahead and get those taken care of, then it definitely helps you to be less stressed as those application deadlines get closer. We also, like we talked about, we want you to review that transfer credit tool, use that tool to be able to determine how the courses you're taking are transferring, and then be prepared to provide those syllabi. And of course, stay in contact with your admissions representative, Sarah, or Jennifer, or your advisor if you've already been connected to an advisor. And then check your email. We want both, we want you to check both your new K-State email and then the email that you put on your application, because information will be sent to both of them throughout the time that you're admitted before you enroll. And the next program that I want to talk to all of you about is DirectLink. I coordinate the DirectLink program, and DirectLink is our dual advising program for students attending Kansas community colleges and other Kansas colleges as well. What it does is it connects you and your advisor at that community college with an advisor at K-State in your respective major. And so you can see some of the pieces here that it helps to increase the success of our transfer students by providing clarity in that transfer process. I really feel like working with both of your advisors helps to determine the best time for you to transfer, the best path for you to take as you're looking at transfer. And it definitely reduces your time to graduation by making sure everything is lined up and ready, and making sure we're not missing, or you're not missing any specific requirements as you transfer to K-State. And it does increase reverse transfer awareness. We do encourage all of our students who are in the Direct Link program to then apply for reverse transfer if they have not completed that associate degree while they're at their community college. Currently for online majors, we have about 8 or 9 of those online majors that are in the Direct Link program. And actually we just added dietetics, so that number is probably increased just a little bit. You can see here the benefits for Direct Link. The biggest benefit for students is that we do waive that K-State admissions application fee. So that's a help for a lot of our students. I talked about that individualized plan for transfer, working with both of your advisors. A lot of times students as early as a semester or 2 semesters before starting at K-State have that plan for their next couple semesters at their community college, and then a plan for what that looks like when they get to K-State and how all those transfer classes apply. And like I said, you have direct interaction with the K-State advisor this entire time. I send an update every semester, so you continually stay in contact with that K-State advisor in case you lose that contact or that contact changes. Those are all updates that will be sent to you. So just a little bit about the process for Direct Link. We put here that students apply to the Direct Link program. I think apply sometimes sounds a little daunting. So really all you're doing is signing up for the Direct Link program, and it's via an online application. We ask for very basic information. The information really is what we need to connect your record in our constituent management program, so we can keep track of who you are. Once you've fulfilled that or sent that application in, you're contacted by me and sent a FERPA agreement so that we can legally share that information between advisors. After those messages are sent, the advisor connection is made. And then, like I said, I send semester updates to make sure that both advisors and yourself are updated on any curriculum changes that have been identified at K-State, or any changes that have been made at the community college end. So, Jennifer, I think that's it, and it's back to you.
Okay, thank you, Beth, for all that good information. And I will finish up with the last few slides here. I think I did skip over one, hitting lots of buttons and things are moving everywhere. So let me get back to how we serve our online students. So yes, you have met us tonight, the recruitment office. We are the recruiters, admissions, and enrollment coaches, and we're here to help you walk through all parts of getting ready to apply to K-State, learning about the programs. We're here to help you in that particular stage of recruitment. The admissions process, we do have people, and I would explain that the admissions office, it does take care of all on-campus and online students. And we've got transfer admissions people that will be looking at your transcripts and helping you with the whole admissions process, as well as us in recruitment are helping you get ready for that particular point. So if you have questions at any time, we've got people to help you. Once you become a student at K-State, you will be working with an advisor. You'll have an academic advisor in your program of study. In particular, excuse me, in particular, we do have online advisors for specifically our online students. Likewise, on-campus advisors are also there for the on-campus students. So we will take good care of you with our advising process and have a lot of student support services that can help you out with tutoring, working with the library, working with a lot of different opportunities, employment type opportunities, career placement, career searching. So we've got a lot of student services that you can also take advantage of. Financial aid, you will be assigned a financial aid advisor as well, who can walk you through those processes and answer any questions that you have about your financial aid package and things related to FAFSA, other types of aid, scholarships, those ideas that come apart with the financial aid office. Technology, we know technology happens. We do have IT resources. We've got a help desk that's fully staffed. They can help you out for something as simple as changing your password, or something more complex if you've got computer issues. We're able to help you with the technology side of life at K-State. And if you happen to be military, We appreciate all of the sacrifice and dedication that you have done. We are considered a military-friendly campus, and so we've got special opportunities and people to help with the military as you navigate the military benefits, the VA benefits, and we've got people that have been there as well, have gone through what you've gone through, and are able to help you navigate life at campus after being in the military, or even currently if you're in the military. So a lot of great ways that we can serve our online students. So we're down to next steps. Are you ready to apply? If so, we're ready to help you. You can go to our website, online.ksu or k-state.edu, either one works, and click how to apply. It'll give you lots of options, and most of you, it sounds like, are transfer students. So you would click on the transfer student, and it would give you all of the steps to complete that application. So we'd have you fill out the application form, give all the information there. You would need to pay your application fee and then have all your previous transcripts sent directly from those institutions straight to K-State. We often get the question, where do we send them? And that is located on this page for transfer students. It'll give you the exact address. It even gives you the electronic address if you're sending them in as an e-transcript. So all that information is on that page. If you need that, let us know though too. We're happy to help out as well. Once you apply, if you haven't heard or you're kind of worried about where your application is, if everything's been received, you can also contact us at online.k-state.edu or online@k-state.edu, and we can help check your application status to see where you're at that point. Upcoming dates to remember. So November 1, if you're applying for a scholarship for spring 2022, November 1 is the deadline. I'm also going to add that it is a priority deadline for the dietetics program to get your application in by that point. January 1 is the hard deadline for our online programs. I don't know if you remember, we kind of said it's a 4 to 6 week process for the application to be reviewed and to get back to you. If you wait to January 1 and classes start January 18, doesn't really allow a whole lot of time to get things reviewed. So if any possible way that you can apply before that, that would be really, really good to help you get the application through the process, transcripts reviewed, work with your advisor, and get enrolled. In some programs, the classes do fill up pretty early. So the earlier you can get applied and admitted, the earlier you can enroll. But we will allow you to apply up until January 1. Just know that you're going to be on a really tight time frame to get classes that are going to be starting January 18th. So then as we look ahead to summer 2022, if you're looking for that semester, you want to apply for scholarships by April 1 and have that hard deadline of applying for a start at summer 2022. That would be May 1 of 2022 that you need to have all your application and information in. And then if you're looking to start fall of 2022, I see a little typo on this slide. Looking to start next fall, you'd want to apply for scholarships by June 1, and then the hard deadline is to apply by August 1 for admissions. But again, sooner the better. It'll help everybody out, but we will allow you to apply up to the last minute. Other things to note, and I might make a comment too. I know Beth put it in the chat, but if you've got questions, you might put them in the chat now as we're going through these last final things, and we'll be ready to answer all of those here in a little bit. But one thing to note that we will be sending a copy of this webinar to you in about 7 to 10 business days. We do take the recording and have to upload it to YouTube, and it takes a little time to get that done. So it'll be out to you in about 7 days, so that if you miss something, if we talked fast or whatever happened, you can go back and review this particular recording. And get a copy of it as well. But if you did make it all the way here through the end of this webinar, we really want to thank you for attending. We know that there's a lot of information presented. We have a lot of good stuff for you, but we wanted to let you know that if you made it all the way through, we will waive your spring 2022 application fee. So you might let us know after this webinar if you made it all the way through, you heard this, we will waive your application fee. That is available to everybody, except there are some exclusions, and that includes the dietetic applicants. If If you're headed into that program, unfortunately, we're unable to give you an application fee waiver. But other than that, we are really glad that you are here. You spent the evening with us. Again, if you've got any questions, we will be taking them here right now. So I will invite Beth and Sarah back to this area, and we'll start going through some questions for you and see what's on your mind.
So Jennifer, we have one from Ivan. Are the online programs offered full-time or part-time or a combination, specifically the food science and industry program?
That's a great question, Ivan. And that is a definite yes. We offer them full-time or part-time. We often see that a lot of our online students have families, are working, have full-time responsibilities, and being a full-time student is pretty tough. So we would recommend that you do part-time if that works best for you. There are some students that can do full-time, and that's perfectly fine. But yes, having part-time is a great way to complete the degree kind of on your time frame, and getting all the credits completed, and plus doing well with them. We'd hate for you to take a really big load and not be able to focus on each one of those classes. So we do recommend a lot of the online students being part-time.
Okay, the next question from Nicole. I graduated with my associates in animal science in 2015. Will I need to complete any placement exams?
That also is a really good question, Nicole. Thanks for that. Placement exams are typically reserved for college algebra. So if you've already completed math or have taken classes that prove that you've either taken college algebra or can place into taking college algebra at K-State, then no, there wouldn't be any placement exams there. The other types of placement exams that might happen is if English is not your native language, there would be some placement exams as well to get into English. And that's often for the international students, if there is any on the call here, that's also something good to note about taking some placement exams for English. But other than that, I believe it's just college algebra. Sarah, would you like to jump in?
Yeah, for placement exams, they're not necessarily required. Like Jennifer said, you know, college algebra would be the only one that would be an option that you could complete. I know that if you're looking at, it depends also on the degree that you are looking at and what the admission requirements are. That would be something that I would like to personally email with you personally about, because every degree is going to be a little different sometimes.
Yeah, Sarah, do you want to keep answering? Another question from Ivan. What's the time limit to complete a program? Is there a time limit to complete a program?
No, you know, it kind of, you know, goes with what Jennifer was saying earlier. You can be part-time or full-time. So we have some students that only do 1 or 2 classes a semester. We have some that are full-time, and that is all going to affect your completion time with that program. Also, especially if you're a transfer student, we take into account your transfer courses. And that's where that degree audit report really comes in handy, because it will show you what transferred and what courses you have to complete. And then your advisor can come up with that completion plan, but there is no time limit. There's also no time limit. I get this a lot on courses that you've taken. We've had students from that taking courses back in 90s and 80s. It really just depends on where they took that class and what the syllabus was like. What the curriculum was for that course. So there's no expiration date for courses either, just to kind of build on that.
I will jump in though. For dietetics, there are some expiration dates.
There are, okay.
A few classes, like a basic nutrition needs to be taken within 10 years of applying to K-State, and your last science classes need to be taken, last science in a series need to be taken within 5 years. So for instance, if you've taken Chem 1 and Chem 2, Chem 2 needs to be taken within 5 years of applying to K-State. Or if you've taken Chem 1, Chem 2, organic and biochem, then biochem would need to be taken within the last 5 years. So it is a little bit degree dependent, but for the most part, previous credits can go back a really long time. Most likely though, you may be asked to get a syllabus from that time period to submit. And if that's the case, sometimes contact the library or the archivist at the library, and they can find those old syllabus if they were back, like say in the the 1900s. If you have coursework from back then, ask for those syllabi. They will need to be reviewed, but yeah, we'll work with you and help you get the credit, try to get as much credit to count as we possibly can.
Okay, Sarah, another question for you.
Yeah.
It comes from Thomas. How soon are transcripts needed after submitting my application, or will I need to have them in order to apply?
Yes, so transcripts are part of your application. So we are not able to start processing your application until we receive your official transcripts. And I did kind of touch base on this in the chat earlier, but I do want to make sure that I made sense. Yes, so we will need your transcripts and your application and application fee no later than the application deadline. But we have to have all three of those things in order to start processing your application. If you're currently enrolled at another school and you're finishing classes this semester, but you want to start in the spring, but won't be done until December, what you would do, you have two options. One is waiting until your final grades are posted and then sending that transcript. However, that does not threaten, sorry, that's a wrong choice of words, but it does delay your application and get your acceptance. So classes would fill up. The other option would be to send an in progress transcript is what we call it. So it would show your final grades for all of your past courses and show us what you're currently enrolled in. That would trigger us to start processing your application, but then you would have a second final transcript sent to us once you have your final grades. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think you answered Jared's question as well. About would he have enough time to apply between his time at Butler and starting at K-State in the spring. But we do have another question from Thomas. He says he has an AA degree as well as a few credits from a second institution. Would you recommend I get transcripts from both or only submit the information from my completed degree?
So we would require both. The university requires a complete education history from students. So we would need you to contact both of those institutions and have your official transcript sent to us. On your most recent transcript, it will show that you have credits transferred from that school, but it won't tell us any real specific information, I don't believe. Any other questions?
That's all that I see in the chat.
All right, well, we sure appreciate everybody attending. If you have anything else specific, reach out to us, email Sarah or myself. We'd be happy to help. And you can do that really easily by this online at ksu.edu. It goes to both of us. So we'll be able to answer your questions if you have anything there. But all right, well, I will just like to thank you for attending. Thank you, Sarah and Beth, for helping out with the presentation tonight. And we will look forward to seeing your application soon. So everybody have a great evening. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.